So you thought the Ronin 4D was dead, huh?
I actually have this up my urethra.
Guys, it's been a minute. I apologize. I missed your faces. Today we're talking about the biggest update DJI has given us for the Ronin 4D since they launched the product. Now, this isn't just a firmware update. They released multiple pieces of new technology that now work with the Ronin 4D, including this power zoom lens, the new L Mount adapter for Leica. We have GPS module and adapter for the hand grips, and of course, the flex cable. In addition to all that, they also released some new tools in the firmware, including the return of ProRes RAW for a license fee. So this looks a little gimmicky, but there's actually a ton of utility in this that we're gonna explore today. So the most surprising new piece of tech is this 17-28 T3 power zoom lens. Now this is DJI's first zoom lens, and it's only their 5th lens in their lineup, and it's already pretty impressive. So it's DL mount, so it will only work with the Ronin 4D. It could work with the Inspire 2. Gosh darn it, it doesn't quite fit. Okay, confirmed. It only works with the Ronin 4D. Damn, I really thought I had that one. Damn. It is built specifically for the Ronin 4D, so it's small enough to balance without the need of a rear counterweight, and also without any obstruction to the LiDAR unit. So that's kind of nice. Also, this thing can pop off. And when compared to the other DL mount lenses, it's quite a bit larger. I mean, granted, these are like aerodynamic. They're made for the Inspire 2. They're made out of carbon fiber. And this is a power zoom lens. So this lens is 520 grams. It's heavier than those lenses, but it's surprisingly light for its function. And I think best of all, it's incredibly sharp corner to corner. Doing some simple tests here, we can see that the center is tack sharp and there's only slight softness towards the side and corners. Light is very well controlled with 0 vignette, and there's also 0 chromatic aberrations, even when opened up in a backlit scenario. When comparing to another zoom lens in my kit, I found the sharpness on par with my tack sharp Sigma 24-70. Focus breathing is very well controlled. It's non-existent at 17 millimeters, but it's noticeable at the top of the zoom range at 28 millimeters. And it's parfocal, meaning when you focus zoom, the focus doesn't change. So even if you're not using autofocus and you're focusing manually, you can zoom in with impunity. And if that's not enough, the light transmission is a constant T3 across the zoom range. The most impressive thing about this, the close focus is ridiculous on it. 7.44 inches or 18.9 centimeters, which is damn good. To use the power zoom, you have to be in the latest firmware, and then in the menu option, there's a user setting to assign the zoom function to the focus wheel, and then you simultaneously hold down the trigger and focus the wheel. Basically, you can go back and forth between pulling focus manually and zooming just by holding down the right trigger. Very clutch. You can also assign the top rocker for the zoom, which is amazing for underslung mode. Now 17-28 isn't that great of a range. My guess is that they're using similar optics to the legendary Tamron 17-28 Mark III, which is an incredibly sharp lens. It's insanely lightweight, and it's safe to say that they may have been inspired by that optical design and then souped it up with the power zoom feature. But because we're shooting full frame 6K, you can always switch to Super 35 mode, and then that 28 becomes a 42. So the only things that I noticed that are a little iffy is that the focus motor isn't super fast. Like I would have loved for this to have like a crash zoom. So DJI, if there's a future firmware update where we can adjust the speed, that would be amazing. There is a tiny bit of servo motor noise when you zoom in. It only happens when you zoom in fast. It's completely silent when you zoom in slowly. Let's see if you guys can hear it. So this is fast. And now here's slow. See? Totally silent. So it's definitely possible you'll hear it if you're using the onboard mic. Michael, welcome to the club, buddy. Look how nice his looks. Mine looks like it's been left out on the street for a year.
To be fair, I literally got it a week ago. A lot of times I'll put the microphone right next to it over top. It's not crazy loud, but you can definitely still hear it a bit.
So I already found my first bug. So that's the minimum focusing distance. It's pretty darn short, but check this out. Right now, that's in focus. If we turn autofocus off, and then we just hit this a little bit, I can't get it back in focus now. I think it might just be a calibration issue. The lens doesn't allow you to focus it closer than 1 foot on manual focus. If you want to get super close focus, you have to have it in autofocus mode. Now I'm fairly confident this bug will be ironed out by the next update. So all in all, a stellar lens for the price. The focus is fast and responsive. The overall look is non-distracting and fairly clinical, and the colors render surprisingly neutral. Good job, DJI. DJI added the Leica-L Mount electronic bayonet, so you can now mount and get LiDAR autofocus from Panasonic L lenses, Leica-L lenses, without the need for calibration. So now there are 3 mounts where you can get autofocus from the Ronin 4D without calibration. And that's gonna be the DL lenses, Sony E-mount lenses, and now Leica-L Mount lenses. Now I did test out some of these lenses and they are working just as good as the Sony E-mount lenses or even the DL mounts. Looking pretty good. Oh my God, it even works at 200. Kind of. All right, so it doesn't exactly work with the 200 fully, but it definitely works at 70. It's definitely not perfect, but it's come a long way. So I think DJI has really fine-tuned the autofocus curve and is giving us some serious options for autofocus now. I'm surprised at how much better the LiDAR autofocus is working now. From the last time I reviewed this camera over a year ago, the autofocus definitely was not as responsive or as accurate. So this is getting closer and closer to phase detection level. All right, here we go. Power zoom. Inside the box, you get a 6-foot cable and a pan axis lock. The Flex cable is the same concept of the Sony Venice. So you can separate the camera body from the sensor. So both male and female ports are made of aluminum construction. The female side that connects to the gimbal head features both record and power button and a cheese plate with several 3/8 and 1/4-20 mounts, both on the sides and bottom. It has a cold shoe mount for the monitor and 4 USB-C ports to bus future accessories. And best of all, these 2 ports on the side, you can click in the hand grips. So now you can trim down your whole camera package from 12.5 pounds down to 5 pounds. Now, one thing to note is that you lose the Z-axis. That's the only bummer. So in order to connect them, the male section locks into the camera body with a twist and a click, and then you can tighten to lock it down. The female side hooks into the gimbal head and becomes our new mounting dock. You can attach the hand grips and even attach the monitor to the camera body. If you unplug the monitor cable and replace it with the cable at the end of the male side, then attach the monitor into the USB-C port onto the dock. You can attach the monitor onto the cold shoe port, and now you're good to go. We are 12 feet in the air.
I probably would get better results if I had 2 people doing this. Time to call a friend.
Oh, I need a readjusted? Let's just move the camera angle just a little bit. Oh, perfect. I framed it up perfectly. This could be the new go-to car interview shot because the producers could be in a follow car with the transmitter. Wow. Oh my goodness. Look, actually what we do is we just put it on tracking. Now it's compensating for the car. So when you corner. See, that's perfect. I put it on tracking mode. Crazy is that I used to shoot for CNBC and we would film a lot of high-end cars and they would do interviews in the cars sometimes. And we would be rigging up GoPros, like 4 or 5 different GoPros, and then we would just let them drive. But when they were on the thing, we would be able to hear them, but we wouldn't really be able to see what the shots were.
Or change anything.
Yeah, we can't change exposures, none of that stuff. And so now it's like, with the 20,000 foot range of the wireless transmitter, and then being able to change the shot, you could be like, oh, let's turn off tracking. Let's get a close-up of Michael, do an insert at Michael shifting, establishing shot, okay. This wouldn't be used for commercials. This would be used for reality stuff. Because with commercials, they would put the car onto a truck and then they light the front and then that's it. Commercials at most films. But for reality shows where you got to move quickly, this is set up and like you're set up in 10 minutes and you're rolling. Done. Forget it. Look at that lighting. Oh, you know what? It's getting a little bright in here. Let's put on 512 ND.
And after saying goodbye to Michael, wouldn't you know it, I got a call from CNBC.
So this is Dan. He's the broker.
How you doing, guys?
Dan's letting us film in here.
I love it. Look at
You got Jinks over here. He's got some great work.
Now, Jinks is the listings videographer and does great work, and I'm somewhat crashing the party for a few special shots.
All right, this will work. All right, I think now we're in business. Now we need to get the backpack. There's a backpack that this goes in. So I guess they share a manufacturing plant with DJI. This is PGY Tech. Take a look at this. You just put this on the bottom.
So the objective is to get the wireless director's monitor paired and then toss the rest of the rig into the backpack and try some creative shots.
All right, we got image now. So now we have image on here. Jinx over there is holding that. All right, so now I'm in the backpack and I got monitor. So this first shot, let's try to get the going up through the chandeliers. Definitely has potential, but we did not nail that one. All right, so see the 3 dots right there on the left? Go to general settings and then go to gyroscopic control. Okay.
this.
Yeah.
So gyro control uses the altimeter of the monitor to change gimbal tilt and pan. It's just like the force mobile function on the RS2.
Oh, this is cool. Are you serious?
This isn't weird. This is normal. This is what men do. Men in big houses.
Oh, wow. This is cool.
All right, we're gonna put him in the backpack.
It really looks like you have a like indoor drone, you know?
And just like that, I was off like the wind.
Oh my goodness. The good thing is that you don't have to rig anything. So if you wanted this ridiculous setup, you just toss this in the backpack and you are up and running in less than 5 minutes. So the gimbal itself is a little bit worthless at this point because we're just locked off. All right, Tom Cruise, I'm ready, baby. Let's go jump out of a plane. Okay. Not sure that's the correct application for it, but the Hermit Cam is cool. All right, so the last one, this one isn't really new. This one's been out for a couple of years. At least the GPS module for the Ronin S has been around for several years. They finally just released the universal hand grip that attaches the GPS module to the Ronin 4D. Now, why this is important, remember my Ronin 4D video, those car-to-car shots?
Do try to return it to one piece, my cart now.
And how the camera roll was drifting. It was a horizontal drift. That's because the camera didn't know how fast it was going. And the GPS module will correct that. So if you're doing a lot of car-to-car stuff, this is definitely something you're gonna wanna pick up. ProRes RAW, so it's like $900 now for the license. To be honest with you, hard pass. I have it on the camera, I tested it. There is no difference in detail between ProRes RAW and ProRes 444 XQ. Visually, if you compare those two side by side, they are identical. And when I pixel peep, I have to go all the way down to 422 LT before I can start seeing a difference. If you shoot ProRes RAW, you still can't ingest into DaVinci Resolve without some crazy extra workflows. But if you guys are interested in those files, I left the download link in the description. You can download them, you can look at the test yourself. DJI, if you wanna make an H.265 codec, I would love that. I would gladly pay several $100s for that. For $929, it's a little pricey for a cable, but when you compare this to, say, the Sony Venice cable, which is $11,800, it's definitely a steal. So the coolest thing is you can actually connect up to 3 of these. So we have 6 feet, but we could have one that's 18 feet.
It's the thing I've never seen. What is happening? Wait a second. The snake!
Yes, bro.
Oh, this is very cool. Just thinking I needed something like this.
I heard you have a snake too.
I have a snake.
Is it as long as mine?
We should measure each other's snakes right now.
You look like you're about to go spearfishing.
I almost ran right into Jesse.
There you go.
Compare?
Oh, we compare.
All right, I guess they are the same one.
One more time. Confident this is gonna work?
Semi.
Really drove 5 hours to just see if this works or not. You have a family?
Here we go. Moment of
Oh,
truth.
I think we're.
Come on.
Whoa!
Okay, so now we can just toss this into a backpack.
Okay, so that's attached here.
That's a single. This should be good. Maybe your arm will break. Work? I don't know what for, but it looks great. Oh, put on tracking. And while this doesn't look too promising, we found that subject tracking turned out to be the best co-pilot for these types of shots. Nailed it every time. This is a good idea.
All right, that's good, Chris.
Hitting power lines, because then we're instantly dead.
I'm shocked at how good it looks.
So Chris did an episode fully testing this system out on the car mount. So if you guys want to see some more of his shots, definitely check out his video because he really does push it to the max.
Basically, I mean, I'm getting like really nice parallax movement. Oh, this is sick.
If you guys want to learn more about the lens, Michael Tobin did a full review just on this lens, and he compared it to other lenses and other camera systems, so definitely give him some love. He's my neighbor now, so that's kind of fun. More videos with Michael Tobin in the future.
Feels like I'm already making a documentary. Like, what's it about? Snow removal in the gritty downtown core. The documentary sucks, but the cinematography is pretty good.